Zoe, or now I'm going by my regular name, Ted Manolitis. I just wanted to make a little public statement here. I've been posting some information about recent events in my life involving some very convoluted and very disturbing events and that happened to me over the last year that involve Henrico County Police, Henrico County Mental Health, and who knows who else. This involves harassment, psychological abuse, and human rights abuse, civil rights violations, you name it, they did it. And, they facilitated it, and they did some of it. Now, some of this, I don't know who did, but when I asked police to investigate this stuff, they would never cooperate. Nobody would give me straight answers. Next thing I know, my money was cut off, that I live on, and for months, and I could get no help in any way to correct that. So I basically was being starved to death, stuck at home because they tampered with my vehicles, whoever these people are, and they also tampered with my internet, my cloud storage, all my personal files and stuff. It's a long story. I know I've mentioned this before on Facebook and some of my other mini updates, but I am moving forward here with a new campaign to expose Henrico County abuse and human rights violations facilitated by Henrico Police and Henrico Mental Health. As far as I know, and there's probably others involved, Henrico Building Code Enforcement, they're involved. Commonwealth's Attorney in Henrico is involved, although she was probably lied to by these people, Henrico Police. Sheriff's Department is involved. It's a big political mess brewing, and I just want everybody to know, bear with me, I am just beginning to deal with this now. It's been months and months of emotional stress, PSTD, you name it, financial trouble caused by this stuff that they did to me. I go without food, I go without transportation, and I don't have a job. I couldn't work a job now because of what these people did to me over the last year. And I'm determined that this is going to be exposed for what it is, and that I am going to get accountability for it, and that these people are going to be prosecuted for this, for some of this criminal stuff. It probably never will happen. Cops, they always talk their way out of stuff. But I have records that support my position. Henrico Mental Health has been lying for years about a lot of things and about me. And this began in 1995, 3 months out of college, downtown when I lived at 200 West Franklin in Richmond, Virginia, when I went to VCU. I graduated. 3 months later, I'm thrust into this human experiment of some kind. I don't know what this involves, but it involves Central Intelligence. And I know there's people out there that want to do the, tinfoil conspiracy, but this stuff exists, it happens, it's happening all over the country. It involves all kinds of technologies that were being developed back in the 90s. It involves that mind control project that was ended in 1994 at the CIA. Bill Clinton signed a law that went through Congress that was, demanded that the CIA get out of this stupid mind control stuff. It was MKUltra or something, I forget. You'll have to look it up, but it's there. This is true. And unfortunately, it didn't stop. I'm a victim of it. My father worked for the Defense Department at the time, and he somehow got dragged in the middle of this, and that's how I think I did. He worked for the CIA himself years and years years ago. I mean, this was way back during the, after World War II. He was in the OSS, and then he went into the CIA. He's always been in the government in some capacity. But anyway, he ended up at the DOD, and then after he retired, he worked contract work for DOJ and others, before he died. And needless to say, I got sucked into this. I could not talk about it. I knew what it was when it started back in 95, and they put me in every nut house in this area. They drugged me. They said I was this. They said I was that. And it was all by Henrico. Now, at the time, Henrico County did not have jurisdiction over stuff in the city of Richmond. And I was dragged out to Henrico, and they took over and had no jurisdiction doing that. I was a resident of the city. And so, long story short, I don't want to get into that. I can write about it. I'm writing about it now. It's just almost 30 years of my life stolen by this contrived mental illness. I'm bipolar. I accept that. But all this other stuff, I am not. They have false diagnoses on record. They have missing records. The police have all kinds of missing records about the last year of stuff that happened. So I know the Commonwealth's attorney was lied to in my case. At the time when I was sitting in jail, after, when I came back here, I guess it was 9 months later, it was like I just want to go home. But, I had to go in front of a judge. She didn't know. Obviously, she didn't know. They lied to my lawyer. Or he was in bed with them, or they lied to him, because none of what was said was true. I got banned from every Wawa in Henrico County. Real funny, because they did a lot of nasty things at Wawa. Where I lived, they harassed the hell out of me, all kinds of civil liability there. And then at the other Wawa up on Brook Road past Farm, that was the one that I used to frequent, take my coffee breaks. I knew some girls up there, Kim and Caitlin. I'm not getting into personal relationships, but I had one. So, I didn't know these girls, but they were, Kim I knew kind of, for 6 years I kind of was acquainted with her. Loved her to death. We danced around things. Long story. And then I met Caitlin, and shortly thereafter, before this incident began, and, she got caught in the middle. They all did. And nobody's talking. And I can't go back in there to fish around and find out what really happened. So I'm going to have to go write Wawa a letter and tell them the truth about what really went on versus what they may have heard. I was never given a chance to do any of this. I was locked up for 9 months and abused in solitary confinement, mental health wing of the sheriff's office. So the sheriff's office is involved. They abused me, and they broke one of my thumbs or bones in that, one of the deputies. They left me in a cell, did not feed me half the time, and when they did, they were abusing me with food. They were cut off my water for days one time, and I had no water. I had to do all this stuff in there to get their attention. They just ignored me, and then they say I needed medication. Well, they had 9 months to get, or 8 months to give it to me in the mental health wing. They never did. They never evaluated me. They never did anything. So there's a lot involved, and they're going to get sued. Everybody involved in this is going to get sued if it's the last thing I do, and I'm going to correct this. And Wawa, I have no problem with their business model. I don't think they knew shit about the stuff that was going on, and I don't think some of these other businesses that I frequent did either, where they fucked around. They fucked around at a Starbucks downtown too with stuff. And did some nasty things down there. There was a girl down there that I knew, that I liked, that I had just met. And I know she knew something. They went down there. They were harassing me down there, psychological harassment and stuff. It's a long story. But just bear with me. I'm going to post some of this stuff tidbit by tidbit. You'll probably never hear this in the news. It's, it should be in the news, but you know how that is. They, Nobody wants to listen. Nobody wants to believe me. But I went through this stuff. I went through hell. Through fucking hell. And it was not pleasant. I wish I would have just done that, because I would have been better off. That's how bad it was. When you're in that situation, that's how you feel. And they did this for months and months. And had no right, had no legal basis to do this shit. They lied. They had all kinds of illegal shit they did to me prior to the worst of it. So Henrica Doctors is involved because they did illegal stuff with these TDOs. They tried to do one on my porch in the dark of night, think that I didn't know about it. Oh, it was the craziest stuff you ever heard. So beware, folks that live in Henrico. You got some dirty stuff going on. And Shannon Taylor, if you're out there listening, you're going to be hearing from me, because your office is involved, and I know you, and I know you're straight as an arrow. I voted for you. I was glad to see you come in there, because I got screwed in 2005 by your predecessor, and that's a long story. And I know that you would not be appalled if you knew what really went on with these police and all these other people and mental health. And also, I just got a letter from your office demanding $250 for court fees. So Mr. Balato, or whatever he is going to get a little letter, and you may too. So stay tuned. And Henrica Mental Health, if you ever harass me again, you're going to be in federal court. I'm going to get an injunction against this entire county for harassing me about this and that and everything else. What's behind this? I don't know. Who you're in bed with? I don't know. But this last incident you pulled, I'll tell you what, you stepped over the line. And woman, you, whoever you were in that jail that lied to me, made me walk home and starve to death here for a month or two, and would not let the other lady bring me food, and lied to my face, and lied. Well, you are in it too. And the only person there in that jail that was straight with me was Mr. Davis. So Mr. Davis, you're safe, but you don't know what these people did. You don't know the full story, and I couldn't tell you at the time. It's politically sensitive. So beware, everybody. I'm in a big political mess. I have no idea how I got in it. You know, I stayed out of politics in 94, in 95. I was going to become a political strategist for the Democratic Party, but shit was going to hell back then, you know, during the Clinton years. So I decided I'm not going to do that. I was going to go to a graduate school in D.C. that trains people for that. And I decided not to. I decided to find something else to do. So now I do graphics, arts, and music and stuff, and that's what I like. I don't want to get into this political bullshit that goes on, especially today. But I will dabble in it. I know it. I know how to do things. You know, I do. I predicted a lot of political events. Shannon Taylor, Joe Morrissey, I predicted him be in trouble before he even got to Richmond. You know, when he was in the city, causing trouble. I saw a little clip in the newspaper, and I knew he was trouble, bugged me to death to work on his campaign. I refused and refused. Well, guess what? Sometimes you sit on your fat ass and you wait for the dirt to sink. And it did with him, did it not? Anyway, good night, Ted Manolakis. And please, Kim and Caitlin, I hope that you're okay. And I'm fighting this, and I miss y'all. And, you know, this should have never happened, should have never involved you. I had nothing to do with that. Good day.